Howdy folks, Turtle here. It's a late night here at the Turtle Cave, if you will. And, well, I just wanted to do another anime collection video. It's been a couple of years. I think last time I did this was 2021. And yeah, it's been quite a while. I've accrued a lot more stuff, sold a few things. So I bought my first set in 2010, and I bought stuff sporadically over several years. And then 2018, I finally got kind of serious about it, got more consistent income, and was able to actually buy a lot of stuff. So yeah, let's get started, shall we? This is gonna look weird, but I have Gundam Age. The first set is a Blu-ray, the second is a DVD. Just one format was cheaper than the other. Considerably cheaper than the other, actually, on Amazon. So I figured I'd get one and the other. The episode count doesn't change at all between formats. So I figured I should do that, even though it's kind of weird looking. Yeah, it's the only Gundam show that I own that I haven't seen yet. So hopefully I'll get to see that at some point in the next year or two. Next we have Yumero Pasteurise. Hopefully Yumero Pestier. There we go, Yumero Pestier. Just a thing that I decided to pick up randomly. Apparently it's kid-friendly shoujo, basically, about a girl who's going to school to be a pastry chef. I haven't watched it yet, so yeah. Next up we have Shirobako, the complete collection. This does have the English dub on it. So I haven't seen this one either. This might be a trend for a little while. But yeah, anime production, you know. Now here's something I have seen and I'm very fond of. Gundam 00. It's my favorite Gundam series, one of my favorite anime as well. So yeah. Next we have Princess Tutu. I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard it's quite good. Yeah, basically, a lot of people were rave about it, so I decided to pick it up in a Sentai sale. One of Sentai's many, many very good sales for a lot of their stuff, where you can get some stuff for dirt cheap, so I got this. Next up we have Kodocha. Yeah, I have both the Kodocha sets now. I think last time I had only the first one. Was it back in 2021 that I had the first one? I don't remember. But, yeah. Slice of life comedy about a child actress. Funimation picked it up for a little while. They dubbed about half of it, and then they decided, no, we're going to abandon this because of low sales. And there weren't really any markets to broadcast it or whatever, so they just abandoned it. But Disc Attack picked up the whole series. They released the dub of the first. The first set has the 51 episodes that Funimation dubbed with the English dub track, and then the second has just sub only. The first time these episodes have ever been released. Now here's something I don't like very much. Gundam Wing, which might surprise some people, but Yeah, Wing is my least favorite Gundam that I've seen. Gundam Wing does a lot of things at about 3/4 of the way through that I didn't agree with at all, and it's kind of a train wreck at that point. So yeah, I liked with Turn A Gundam a lot more than this, I did end up selling Turn A because I guess I just didn't want to own it anymore. But I still own Wing because it is kind of a cultural hallmark for anime fans who grew up when I grew up. Because Wing was a lot of people's first Gundam. It was not my first Gundam, but it was a lot of people's first Gundam. So, yay. Next we have K-On!, the complete series. I've seen a bit of K-On!, I streamed a bit of it several years back. I've yet to finish it, but now I own the Blu-ray, which includes both seasons and the movie. So yeah. Next up we have Fruits Basket. This is the classic series from the early 2000s. I think I watched a little bit of it years and years ago, and then I started reading the manga. I had to get back to the manga. But yeah, maybe if I enjoy this and enjoy the manga, I'll pick up the remake, which I think it had 3 seasons, right? Yeah, it had 3 seasons, I believe. Next up, Clamp School Detectives. So I used to write for Comic Book Resource, CBR.com, if you will. And one of the articles I had to write was like the 10 best Clamp shows. So I did research on Clamp shows, and I wound up watching a bit of this, Clamp School Detectives, and I quite liked it, so I decided to pick up the DVDs. Okay, next, Azumanga Daioh, the classic ADV film show. Of course, this is the Sentai release, but you know, Sentai is basically zombie ADV. Anyway, so yeah, I do quite like Azumanga Daioh. It is hilarious and cute. Hilarious, cute, hilarious, cute, cute, hilarious. So yeah, just a daily life show, but it pioneered the cute girls doing cute things genre, which are a dime a dozen now. So here's a show I picked up on a whim at a resale store, Asteroid in Love. Yeah, it turned out to be a pretty cute show. It's about a group of girls who are part of an Earth Sciences club at their school, and sort of the friendships that went budding between them. The 2 main girls specifically, they connect when they're like really young, and I think their goal is to like find a star or something. I think that's what it is, but I could be wrong. It's been a while since I watched this. Next is Angelic Layer. So, again, another Clamp show. I did research on the Clamp shows, like I said earlier. And this was pretty enjoyable from what I saw, so I decided to pick up the Blu-ray in a Sentai sale. Next is Air. Air was pretty highly regarded about 15 years ago. Like, a lot of people, a lot of 2000s otaku talked about it at length, at least in the West. And then it kind of just faded into obscurity. Figured I'd pick it up to see what the fuss was about at the time. Next we have City Hunter. I have the first 2 seasons. Now, City Hunter's not for everybody, considering the fact that the main character is an absolute pervert. He's probably one of the biggest perverts in anime. But, you know, every time he flips that switch and becomes the most badass gunman around. So it's like, I don't know. It's still some very good action. I have yet to watch the second season, and I need to pick up the other 2 seasons, but hey. Next up is Black Lagoon Roberta's Blood Trail. Of course, the OVA that capped off the series. Of course, the manga's been on hiatus forever because the author had bouts with depression for a long time. It might be coming back soon, I'm not sure, but yeah, I do have Black Lagoon somewhere in these boxes. And speaking of boxes, we're through with the first box. On to the next one. Okay, next we have Ghost Hunt. It's supposed to be a pretty good supernatural anime, as it's about ghosts, hunting ghosts, obviously. Excuse me. And the only reason I sort of thought about this show and then wound up picking it up is because this person that used to, like, they were a classmate in college, and I didn't really like them very much, but they once said that they liked Ghost Hunt a lot for some reason. So yeah, I don't know, it's a weird thing. Person you don't like, but you wind up picking the show they like. It's weird. Next, we have a show that doesn't need any introduction, but I'll give one anyway. Cowboy Bebop. Again, very highly regarded show. If you haven't seen it, even if you're not an anime fan, go watch it. Next is Boogie Pop Phantom. I am very big Boogie Pop fan, although I haven't seen this version of it. I've seen Boogie Pop and others, and I also plan to get the novels at some point, at least the ones that have been published in English. So yeah, Boogie Pop and others is actually one of my favorite anime ever. And I think I watched a bit of this version a long time ago. It's been probably over 10 years since I've watched this version. But yeah. Next up is Code Geass, Lucia the Rebellion. It's the complete series, first 2 seasons of that. Doesn't have Age of the Exile. It doesn't have the movie that wasn't there a movie that came out later on where Lelouch came back or something? I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I remember when this aired on Adult Swim, and I didn't really watch it that much back then. I think I watched a little bit of it some years ago and didn't finish it. And I think I saw like one of the middle episodes on Crunchyroll's Fast channel a while back. But yeah, Code Geass. It's G Gundam, one of the better Gundam shows. It's very different from most Gundam shows. It's kind of its own thing, really. It's very super robot, very hot-blooded, very not your typical Gundam show. But it kind of benefits from that at the same time. It's not bogged down with like the politics of the world, the politics of the world that they're in, that is. And it's just very entertaining to watch. Of course, there are some things that didn't age well, like, you know, Tequila Gundam, you know what I mean? Yeah. Next up is Crunchyroll Regios. This is a show I watched a long time ago. Watched a chunk of it, but didn't finish it. From what I remember, they were there's like a school where like there's military students and there's general studies students and there's all these other students there. You know, all these different programs, and there's like the military students like go out and fight, I think, giant insects or something, and one of the general studies students winds up in the military program. Yeah. Next up we have Big O. Of course, people draw comparisons to Batman the Animated Series, and those comparisons carry a lot of weight. It's basically if Bruce Wayne a giant robot, that's what everybody says, and that's kind of what it is, really. A very good reputation. Adult Swim, of course, bought the right to have a second season, and then Sentai put out this Blu-ray set for it, so yeah. Next is, of course, the original Mobile Suit Gundam. I bought the DVDs a while back. Yeah, not much to say that hasn't already been said. It's fantastic. Has a lot of good mech battles, a lot of good drama. Didn't expect as much fan service as I got, especially for a show that came out in the 70s. But, you know, what you gonna do, right? Next we have Eureka 7, another Adult Swim show. I didn't wind up I didn't watch it when it was on Adult Swim or when it was on Toonami later on, for that matter. It was just a show that I knew existed, but it's been on my radar for quite some time. I've yet to watch it. Big surprise. But I did find these DVDs for very cheap back on Right Stuff back in a year or two ago, I think. It's been a couple of years, but yeah. Welcome to the Grand Tour. It's Dragon Ball GT. Yeah, the Dragon Ball GT has a negative reputation for being kind of an underwhelming sequel to the Dragon Ball series, and it's just, I don't know. I've never actually seen it, even though it was on Toonami back in like 2003 or 2004, something like that. Yeah, I wasn't able to watch it when it was airing then, and I just haven't been able to watch it. I'll probably I'll put it in my schedule at some point, because it's something that I feel I need to see as someone who grew up in that era. So yeah. Speaking of Dragon Ball, the original Dragon Ball, this is the first anime DVD set that I ever bought with my own money. Bought it when I was about 18 years old. I had my 18th birthday. I had my 18th birthday, and there was, and I got a bunch of birthday money, so we went to Walmart, and I picked out some stuff, and they were selling the first 2 seasons of Dragon Ball. I only got the first one at the time. Excuse me. I only got the first one at the time, and I've basically been collecting ever since. And obviously I have the other Dragon Ball sets, but I didn't put all of them in the box to save space, you know? Speaking of that, I have Dragon Ball Kai, Dragon Ball Z Kai, whatever you want to call it. I have all of these sets as well as final chapters. I picked these over the original Z because of the pacing, and obviously the quality of the English dub is a lot better than back in the day. Almost had a big disaster there. Anyway, I have this set of Hunter x Hunter. It is the complete 2011 anime. It is an Amazon exclusive item. I was able to get this. It has all the Blu-ray sets, all 7 of them, in this neat little box. Very nice. And at the end of this box is Ranma 1/2. I own the first 3 DVD sets. I need to get the other ones. Ranma, of course, Rumiko Takahashi has made such an impact on the world of anime and manga. So many series under her belt. You'll be seeing some more of her work later on in the video. Later on in the collection. So yeah, Ranma 1/2. Woohoo. Box number 3. Woo, box number 3. Next up we have Escaflowne. This is the Bandai release of Escaflowne, which contains the rather cursed Fox Kids dub, because they tried to run it on Fox Kids for a while. Yeah, I watched this many years ago. I watched a few episodes. I still need to watch it. I still need to get the Funimation release as well, if I can still find that. Up next, Samurai 7. This neat little box set which contains both the DVDs, but also has a bunch of like info booklets in this thing here, guidebooks, if you will. So yeah. Next is one of my all-time favorites, Kino's Journey. Yeah, I watched this back in 2016 and fell in love with it. So I haven't seen the new one yet. I still need to watch Beautiful World. But yeah, Kino's Journey is just, it's really my kind of show. Very philosophical, very chill, very yeah, it's great. Keeping with the trend of favorites, it is Boogie Pop and Others, like I mentioned earlier. Yeah, Boogie Pop and Others. I just like the vibe of the show. I like the vibe. I like the action. I like all the supernatural BS. I am a fan of supernatural stuff in anime, so. Next is Berserk, the 97, 98. It came out in either 1997 or 1998. But yeah, it's pretty highly regarded. It actually got a Blu-ray release recently, so I might pick that up at some point. Here's a neat little gem, Shigefumi. Shigefumi is about this girl who is like a postmaster male person of like dead people. She receives letters from dead people that have recently died and delivers them. It's kind of eerie, actually. Kind of eerie, kind of screwed up in a way. Next, we have Angel Beats. Angel Beats, a show that I think a lot of people liked back in the early 2010s when it came out, but people don't talk about it much now. It's a decent PA work show. Nothing to write home about, though. At least in my opinion, it's nothing to write home about. Next we've got Killing Bites. Killing Bites it's trash. Killing Bites is just trash. It's very trash as well. So basically, a guy gets wrapped up in like kind of a human beast hybrid fight club kind of thing. And it's very much, it's gory, it has fan service, it's trash. Next we have My Hero Academia Season 1. Of course, the very popular and still going My Hero Academia Season 7 is currently airing. Yeah, I'm very behind on My Hero Academia. I need to watch the 3rd season, which I plan to pretty soon. I gotta finish something I'm watching now, and then I'll slot that in when that ends. Next we have El Cazador de la Bruja, one of the Girls with Gun shows. Don't know much about it. I know it's one of the Girls with Gun shows. I own Noir, which I'll probably show you guys in a bit. And I own a little bit of Mad Lax. I watched Noir, and it was very meh, although the soundtrack is pretty good. And then I only own like 2 DVDs of Mad Max. I don't think they're in these boxes actually, but I own 2 DVDs of Mad Max. I need to get the rest, or wait on somebody to release Mad Max on DVD or an SD Blu-ray or something, because it's the one Girls with Guns show that kind of fell through the cracks. Anyway, El Cazador de Alberta. Next, we have a show that I was very fond of in childhood, Ultimate Muscle. Yeah, the Kinnikuman Nisei English version that 4Kids did. So yeah, the 4Kids I think was originally trying to get Kinnikuman, but they wound up getting Kinnikuman Nisei instead. And they did a lot of interesting things in the dub, some hilarious, some not so good. But it is still a very memorable dub, a very memorable experience. And it's got the wrestling, which I like the wrestling. Next is Law of Ueki, the complete series on an SD Blu-ray disc. I actually own a couple single DVDs from the Geneon release. I think it got a Funimation release for... It had got a Funimation complete series release at one point, and they sort of lost the license after a couple of years, because nobody really cared about the show, but I care about the show. I think it's a fairly good show. Next we have a classic, it's Death Note. So yeah, I watched this back when it was airing on Adult Swim. I saw the finale as it was happening. Or rather, I've watched it as it premiered in the American television. It's pretty compelling stuff. It's great drama, albeit there are some minor issues I have with it. But it's still pretty good. Next is a recent popular show. I have Jujutsu Kaisen Season 1 Parts 1 and 2. So yeah, I didn't really enjoy the first season of Jujutsu Kaisen. The second season, not quite as much. And I still need to finish the second season. I kind of put it on hold after a while because I was mad at MAPPA. But, you know... Yeah, it's a pretty good supernatural show, at least for the first season. It's time to go fast because it's Sonic X. Yeah, I do own a fair amount of kids-based anime, and a lot of them are in this box, actually. But... yeah, so yeah, Sonic X, 4Kids dub, obviously it adapts some of the game stuff, but it's also kind of its own thing, and it's got a lot of its own characters, like that one rich kid. Yeah, Chris, that's his name. Up next is Deadman Wonderland. Yeah, that was a show that was like early on in the Adult Swim Toonami era. I mean, early in like Adult Swim era Toonami. And it's pretty violent, as some fan service in it as well. It's just it's a good time, even though like it did get really bad ratings in Japan and was one of the factors that eventually led to the closure of Man Globe. One of the failed Man Globe animated series, along with Gangsta. Next up is Mononoke, not Princess Mononoke. This is Mononoke, the series about the medicine man who goes around and he fights ghosts and shit. I think it's quite good. It has a very good art style. It has a very good art style. It just has a lot going for it. So. Next up is Shaman King. This is actually an SD Blu-ray that specifically contains the English dub, but not the Japanese version. So it's, I don't know. I don't have any experience with the Shaman King dub. I didn't watch Shaman King back when it was on the Fox box, and maybe I should have. But anyway, so yeah, I did watch a chunk of Shaman King in Japanese, and I did do the dramatic readings from the manga a while back, so I do like Shaman King. Okay, Excel Saga. Now, Excel Saga, pretty zany comedy. It's just super out there. Deviates from the manga quite a bit, but that might actually be a good thing. It kind of does its own thing, and every episode is kind of a parody of something or some kind of genre conventions, and it's pretty funny. Yeah, I like it. Next up, Imaginite Ray Earth. Yeah, Ray Earth is it was one of the early isekai from the 90s. Basically, these three middle school girls wind up in another world, and they have to like resurrect these mecha and get all these weapons and stuff, and try to save the world that they've been summoned to. And it's pretty good. At least the first season is really good. The second season kind of drops off a bit, but yeah, I do quite enjoy the first season at least. Next up is Monster Rancher. That's right, the anime based on the very popular series of PlayStation and PlayStation 2 games. Yeah, this series had like kind of a weird history in North America, because at one point it was on Fox Kids, and then it got moved to Kids WB, and then the third season it didn't air in the US until it wound up on Hulu at some point. So yeah, of course it was a Canadian dub, so it did air completely in Canada, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, it was and I wound up not watching this as a kid, and I kind of kick myself now because Monster Rancher is pretty cool. Transported to a faraway land, to a world where monsters rule. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Next up, Defrag. Defrag was a show I randomly watched on Funimation's streaming service back in like 2016, and I did kind of like it, so I decided to pick up the Blu-ray. It's fairly decent. It's about like this club of weirdos that like games, and that's where a lot of the humor lies. Next up is Black Lagoon. I told you it was coming. It was in a different box than Roberta's Blood Trail for some reason. But yeah, I have the first 2 seasons of Black Lagoon. Next I have Metabots. So yeah, Metabots was pretty good. Very good children's anime. Got the neat little robots, they fight, and it's great. But yeah. Next up is Cat Planet Cuties. Very fan servicey, like comedy. I think it's like PG-13 fan service, but it's still fan service. Very much. Yeah, I think I saw a bit of it in my anime club like over 10 years ago. And I just excuse me. I saw it in my anime club about 10, 11, maybe even 12 years ago. And I just I decided to pick it up because it reminded me of my anime club. Grimm's Fairy Tale Classics. This was a show that actually aired on Nickelodeon back in the early 90s. It was part of a package show at first, and then it kind of became its own thing after that. So yeah, it was it's basically adaptations of fairy tales, some Grimm, some from other sources. But yeah, this contains both the Japanese and the English versions. So I don't know if all of the episodes have been dubbed into English. Possibly. Next up is Basilisk. Now, Basilisk was it was recommended to me around December of 2012, and then I binged it on Netflix, something I don't normally do. I don't normally binge shows, but I got Netflix specifically to binge Basilisk, and I did enjoy it. I eventually got these DVDs, so yeah. Next up, 91 Days. 91 Days is very much a revenge story set in Prohibition era America. And yeah, I did end up quite liking it, actually. The tone is excellent. There's some nice little twists in there. And yeah, it's a good time. Alright, Amagi Brilliant Park, series that I picked up on a whim. I think I got it from a Sentai sale, as quite a few of my Sentai Filmworks Blu-rays were from. So yeah, it's just workplace comedy about an amusement park. Not much to say, really. I haven't watched it. Surprise, surprise. Next up is Digimon. I own the first 4 seasons, but I didn't pack all of them in these boxes, you know, just to save space. I have so much stuff that I own on home video already that, you know, I just need to save space. So Digimon, the very classic kids anime. Speaking of classic kids anime, Beyblade, let it rip. Oh yeah. So yeah, Beyblade is a recent pickup actually. I bought it pretty recently, within the past couple of weeks. And yeah, Beyblade's a good time. Even though I don't think spinning tops is a way of life, but you know, that's what the song says, and it's got that pop punk feel. Let's Beyblade. Let's Beyblade. Beyblade, let it rip. Rounding out the third box is the only show from Aniplex that I own, and that is Record of Grand Crest War. Now, I watched some of it on Crunchyroll, and then I decided to buy it, even though it's probably against my better judgment, considering Aniplex America's Blu-rays are ridiculously high-priced for not good reason, I don't think. They're just ridiculously high priced. I do want a couple other things they own, like Kill La Kill or Lycoris Recoil. But yeah, I don't normally go out of my way to buy. Aniplex of America Blu-rays. Alright, now on to box number 4. Cyber Team in Akihabara. This was another blind buy. It's apparently a sci-fi series in the 90s that ADV dubbed. Nice chipboard set. I've said this before in the previous collection video, but I love these sets. So yeah, hopefully I enjoy this. Next, Ergo Proxy. I have all the singles of Ergo Proxy over there. Of course, obviously, as I said before, I did not put all of them in the boxes to save space. So yeah, Ergo Proxy. I haven't watched it yet, but I think I will enjoy it. Very dark color palette. Very it's supposed to be a nice sci-fi show. And apparently Haley Williams likes it, so. Mongolian Chop Squad, also known as Beck, a series I watched a little bit of back in 2009, 2010, but never finished it. It's got a great dub from what I remember, and yeah, a lot of good music in it, as it is a series about a rock band. So Wild Arms Twilight Venom, based on the Wild Arms series of games. I bought this at a convention for $25, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, It's got some very nice action. I watched a little bit of it a few years ago, but I didn't finish it. So hopefully I'll finish it someday. Next up, Emma, Victorian Romance, obviously kind of loosely based off the Jane Austen novel. I was turned on to this a while back because apparently a lot of the actors and actresses in the dub are like actual British people, so that gave it an extra little bit of flair there. So yeah, hopefully I'll eventually watch it and like it. Here's a real classic. Trigun. So yeah, confession time. I've only seen like a third of Trigun. I need to watch the rest of it. I lent this out to a friend of mine, and he really liked it. And so, I need to eventually just watch this whole thing. It's on my massive to-do list. Next, Kaze no Yojimbo, very loosely based on Yojimbo, the film directed by Akira Kurosawa. Yeah, very loosely, because that was a samurai story, and this is more in modern times with like modern gang warfare and stuff. But yeah, Yojimbo is one of my favorite movies, actually, so I decided to pick this up after watching Yojimbo. Haven't watched it yet, but someday I will. Next up is Psycho-Pass Season 1. I remember first watching Psycho-Pass in my anime club back in like 2012 or 2013. And it's a show that I actually watched about half of it on Netflix at my mom's house like years ago, but I didn't finish it. And then they took it off Netflix, so yeah, I'm just waiting for the right time to actually watch this. Apparently, there's some stupid twists here and there, but excuse me. But who knows? I might like it. And here we have No Non Biori. It's supposed to be like a very good slice of life, cute girls doing cute things show. Figured I'd pick it up. I think it was another thing that I picked up in a Sentai sale. So I figured, why not? I like cute girls doing cute things shows. Next up, we have Dojin Work, the complete series. I did wind up putting all three of the DVDs in the box instead of just putting the first one in there. But yeah, another slight blind buy. I found the DVDs for cheap. I think I found I found a couple of them at a local resale shop. So I figured, why not? It's about doujinshi, so I'm just like, I might like it. Next up, we have Rail Wars. I haven't watched this one either, big surprise, but it's apparently it's got a lot of fan service in it apparently, and it's about trains. You know, You know that thing about autistic people in trains. Anyway. Next we have Ghost Swiffer Mikami. This one I have seen a little bit of. I had a hard time tracking down one or two of these sets. I got 3 and 4 for like really cheap, and then I think the second one was expensive. But yeah, I have all the Ghost Swiffer Mikami sets. This was during the early period of Sentai Filmworks, where they weren't dubbing a whole lot of things and just releasing random stuff sub only. This is where they got Gintama, the first season of Gintama, and iShield 21, and a lot of other stuff that they randomly picked up. And next we have Grimoire of Zero. Another one I haven't watched. Surprise, surprise. But I do plan on watching it at some point. It's only 12 episodes. It's a fantasy series. Again, like I said last time, kitty with a sword. So yeah, we're gonna hopefully watch this sometime in the next couple of years. Next up is Problem Children Are Coming From Another World, Aren't They? Weird little isekai thing. I like the opening theme song. I also took a shine to the abridged version years ago. I actually used a sound clip from the abridged version as like an alert for Twitch at one point. So yeah, it's just, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of isekai, but I might like this. Next up is Vampire Knight. It has both Vampire Knight and the second season Vampire Knight Guilty. Yeah, I'm not a huge shoujo fan, but I did wind up picking this up because it did intrigue me a little bit. Yeah, I'll watch it at some point, and then hopefully I'll like it. Maybe not, who knows, but it's one of these sets with the weird, like, double-sided DVDs, so I'll have to figure out, like, which side is which, and that'll be fun. Not. Yeah, next up is Dirty Pair, the Knows Me Entertainment release that came out a while back. I only have the first set because the second set is apparently ran out of print before the first set did. I know that they are in the process of dubbing Dirty Pair, which they will release probably in the next year or so. I've been getting the Kickstarter updates every so often. So, yeah, Dirty Pair. I do quite enjoy Dirty Pair. I love Dirty Pair. Basically, these two young ladies work for, like, this company, and they solve problems with guns. And hilarity ensues. And there is sexy things as well. Hooray! Aesthetica of a Rogue Hero. This was another blind buy. But I got it for pretty cheap, so that's probably why I bought it. The quote here, aesthetic of Baroque Hero definitely made me feel uncomfortable. This is from Anime News Network. Yeah, I don't know if they wanted to put that there, but either way. Here's another show I need to finish. God Mars, very classic early 80s mecha show that Discotech put out a while back. I bought it back in 2018. I binged the first Blu-ray disc, but I didn't get around to finishing the second one. I don't know why. I just didn't get around to it. So yeah. It's a guy who's a mech pilot and he's secretly an alien and his brother's trying to wreck shit, and that's about as much as I remember. Moribito. Yeah, Moribito. This was a show that aired on Adult Swim. Apparently bored a lot of people, but I think I'd still like it because some things that most people find boring I find interesting. So yeah. Wizard Barristers. I think I got this for like $4, so I'm like, I'll pick it up. Why not? It's apparently about magical cops. I don't know. I might find some enjoyment in it, I guess. Next we have Genma Wars. I have all 4 DVDs of Genma Wars somewhere. Not somewhere, they're over there. But yeah, so it's from the mind of Shotaro Ishinomori, who is best known as the creator of Super Sentai and Kamen Rider. Yeah, so he's a big deal in Tokusatsu. And yeah, don't know much about this show. It's just a thing that I wound up being turned on to, and I decided to pick it up. Strawberry Marshmallow, the complete TV series. Again, I like the cute girls doing cute things shows. So, and this is one of the early ones. It's supposed to be pretty nice. I need to watch it. Surprise, surprise. I don't know. I need to stop saying that. But yeah, Strawberry Marshmallow. And last but not least is Bleach. I own through set 19, as you can see in the background. I have several Bleach sets back there. I have through set like 19. I need to get the last like 6 or 7 sets to complete the DVDs, or I may pick up the Blu-rays. I don't know yet. We shall see. Anyway, Bleach, a series that's regained a lot of its popularity due to the 1,000 Year Blood War arc being animated the past couple of years. So yeah. Alright, box number 5. We've got Kiba, the 2000s Isekai series that was on Toonami Jetstream for a time. I don't know much about it. I think I watched a few episodes a long time ago. But yeah, it's just a series that's fallen into obscurity, gone out of print a long time ago. Wound up getting the ADV DVDs. There he is. I believe it's the last series that ADV Films put out before they folded and became Sentai Filmworks and all those other companies. So yeah. Next is Eden's Bowie, another blind buy. I think it's about Gods and Mortals. Okay, so yeah, it's about gods and mortals and them clashing and stuff. I think. I don't know much about it. Decided to pick it up because figured why not? It's only $20. Next we have Sailor Moon. I have all of the Sailor Moon DVDs over there. I only put the first set in there because, a safe space, like I said. I've only seen the first 2 seasons of Sailor Moon, but I do quite like it. It's a neat little show. Yeah, classic show. Yeah. Next we have E's Otherwise show that I randomly picked up. I think it was also kind of cheap, so I decided to pick it up. These nice little individual disc cases in a chipboard box. I do enjoy those. So yeah. Next is Majestic Prince, mecha series from Sentai Filmworks. I think I got this cheap as well. I got the DVD instead of the Blu-ray, obviously. Yeah, not much to say. Don't know much about it. It's apparently about... Yeah, that's what I thought. Genetically enhanced humans, violent robots. So, yeah. Inuyasha. I do own all of the original Inuyasha and Final Act. It's over there along with the Sailor Moon DVDs. Yeah, I did do a sort of retrospect. I started doing a retrospective of Inuyasha, but toward the end of scripting the second season, I just decided to just stop. I don't know, and it's hard for me to get footage now because I don't have the ripping software. I could buy it again, but anyway. Yeah, it's just the whole thing. And yeah, Inuyasha, classic Ruka Takahashi show. Yeah, next we have Captain Earth. Captain Earth, another blind buy. I believe this is a mecha show as well from Sentai Filmworks. Sub only. There's plastic on there. So yeah, not much I can really say. It's probably a cool little space show, mecha show. Captain Earth. Yeah. Speaking of mecha, I have a classic here, Don Kuga. I watched a little bit of this on Retro Crush, but for some reason on Retro Crush you can't track what you're watching, which is dumb. But yeah, that was before I was using AnyList and all that stuff to track what I was watching on a regular basis. So I just fell out of it. But yeah, Don Kuga. Here's a favorite of mine, a bit of a controversial pick, really. Rurouni Kenshin, samurai series that aired on Toonami in the early 2000s. Yeah, the creator is a piece of shit, but I did buy all these DVDs second hand, so none of the money went to Watsky. So yeah, it's just yeah, Rurouni Kenshin's like my favorite Jump series, and it's just that awesome. Oh yeah, Taco Man, bang bang. Also, the Inuyasha movies. Yay, I have all 4 of them. Ooh, Blu-ray. Next, we have Last Exile, a series that I was introduced to via bridging. Yeah, I didn't know about it till Unwardle did the original series, and I didn't watch it until like last year, and I decided to pick up the DVDs finally a couple weeks ago. So yeah, Last Exile, very neat little wartime show, steampunk show. Yeah. Next we have Video Warrior Lazarion. It's a mech show about a kid who plays computer games who becomes a mech pilot. It doesn't have very high ratings anywhere, like on Mal or Anime Planet or any of those sites. It has a pretty low score, but I'm gonna watch it anyway, eventually. Yeah. Next we have Case Closed double feature films. Yeah, the Case Closed Detective Conan films are very hard to find, like, anywhere now. And yeah, obviously because of Funimation, may it rest in peace. Anyway, Funimation decided to abandon the Case Closed dub after like 130 episodes, because they're like, oh, we're not making enough money on this, and there's hundreds of episodes, so we're just gonna not do it anymore. But they did do a few of the movies and a chunk of the episodes. You might see that chunk of episodes later on. But yeah, Case Closed, the classic. Next we have Bakuon, complete collection. Cute girls doing cute things show, except this time it's cute girls riding motorcycles. Not really much to say other than that. Haven't watched it, but yeah, I'd probably at least get some enjoyment out of it because I like the cute girl shows. Next, the classic series, Urusei Yatsura, Rumiko Takahashi's first venture into manga and anime. So yeah, it's a pretty zany comedy about alien girl comes to Earth and she becomes infatuated with an Earth guy, but the Earth guy is a piece of crap. So I don't know. Just classic Takahashi stuff. I need to get the other sets. I only have the first one. And obviously there's a new series that came out recently. I need to watch that too. Next we have Nadia, Secret of Blue Water. It was one of the shows that Hideaki Anno directed prior to Neon Genesis Evangelion. I believe it was the failure of Nadia that led to the mental state one of the things that led to the mental state that he was in during Neon Genesis Evangelion. Of course, obviously, Evangelion became a huge hit, despite Gainax's best efforts to create a stinker. So, yeah, Nadia. Next up is Sayuki. All 50 episodes of the first Sayuki series. I hadn't really seen much of it, but I'd probably like it. It's got some cool stuff about it, so yeah, I think I'll watch it at some point. Next, Gundam 0080 War in the Pocket. Yeah, this OVA takes place like right after the events of Bolted Gundam, I'm pretty sure, at least around that time. So, yeah, it's technically a Christmas anime, so might watch in December, I don't know. So, yeah, War in the Pocket. Whoa. Whew. What is it good for? Putting it in your pocket. Acrobunch, The Quest for Treasure, another random mecha anime I picked up that Discotech did. Don't know much about this one either, except it's just about them looking for treasure. And it's got giant robots. Yeah. Next is Salty Array. It's a pretty obscure anime that Funimation picked up in its early days. So yeah, it's supposed to be kind of cyberpunky, and it's. I remember watching someone review this like years ago, but I don't remember any of the review. I just know that it's one of the only times where Chris Sabat plays like the de facto main character instead of like a secondary main character or a secondary character. He's like the main guy. Next up, Release the Spice. I have watched this. I watched this a few years ago. I kind of liked it, so I figured I'll pick it up eventually, and I did find a good deal on it thanks to one of the many Sentai sales that are active throughout the year. So Release the Spice. It's about spy ninja girls doing spy stuff. Oh yeah. Okay, Sword Guy. Don't know anything about it, just figured I'd pick it up because it looked interesting. Then again, I said that about Severing Crime Edge, and yeah, that was a total shit show. Anyway. Yeah, Sword Guy, it's about swords and stuff. Sword demons, hooray! Or a Battler Dunbine. This is a classic series that was it's Yoshiyuki Tomino was heavily involved with this, and then Hajime Gatate, who's also a big Gundam name. So yeah, it's very much it's mecha, but it's also a fantasy isekai kind of deal as well. So that's interesting. I watched a little bit of it a couple of years ago, and I decided to pick it up. It's 49 episodes. Yeah. And this was actually dubbed somehow. So, yeah. Kaiji. Yeah, Anime Summit was talking about Kaiji recently. Yeah, it's got both seasons of Kaiji, basically the very crazy risk-taking gambling games of Kaiji on 52 episodes. Yeah. If luck is a lady, Kaiji's luck is a stone cold bitch. Of course, it doesn't say bitch, it says B asterisk 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 asterisk. Fafnir. Another blind buy I decided to pick up because it was cheap. Apparently it's a mecha show. Terrorized by hostile alien races, mental warfare. So yeah, they're fighting aliens and giant robots. Giant robots. Robots, 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 robots. Another cute girls doing cute things show. It's After School Dice Club. This is actually my most recent pickup. Picked it up about a week and a half ago. Week and a half ago, something like that. Yeah, After School Dice Club. It's about girls who get into European board games, and one of them wants to create a game at some point. So yeah, it's just neat little show, very, very cute, very calming. So yeah. Yeah, it's Armor Trooper Votoms. Yeah, it's another classic mech show. Again, Hajime Yatate being a creative director on this. Yeah, it's a combination of SD Blu-ray and high definition Blu-ray stuff. I believe the SD Blu-ray is both the 52 TV and 39 OVA episodes. So yeah, Armor Trooper Votoms. I will watch this at some point because it's a very classic mecha show. Here's a series that sucks. Fractal. So yeah, it's about like people live like it takes place in like virtual reality world, and it feels like it's trying to say something about virtual reality versus real reality, but it really doesn't, and then it just kind of veers off into some weird direction. I don't know, it's not very good. And going from an anime that's bad to my all-time favorite right now, Akudama Drive. Yeah, I've watched Akudama Drive late 2022, fell in love with it, finished it on Thanksgiving Day. I fell in love with it from like the first episode, just the way it was establishing the cyberpunk world. And it's got all this cool action and great characters, and Neat little twists, and I believe it's from the creator of Danganronpa, which is a plus because I love Danganronpa. Anyway, yeah. All right, next is Chance Pop Session. Just like Fractal, actually, it was a series that Right Stuff had for like super cheap that they were trying to get rid of, and then it was finally on sale for like $5, maybe less than that, and I decided to randomly pick it up. I haven't watched it yet, but I think it's on High Dive as well. So Sentai might do like an SD Blu-ray or something at some point. I don't know. Next we have a recent show from last year, Otaku Elf. It's about an elf who came to Earth, Japan specifically, like 500 years prior, and has since become kind of a reclusive nerd type. She's into video games and model kits and all that shit. So yeah, and you end up learning about Japanese history and sort of the stuff they were into like 500 years ago. And how it kind of compares to, like, the pastimes of today. So, yeah. Next, we have Review Starlight. Kind of an idle thing, really. Just, kind of it's battle, but it's also like musical at the same time. It's kind of hard to describe, from at least from what I've gathered. I haven't watched it yet, but yeah, there's a lot going on. Next we have Black Bullet. I kind of started to watch Black Bullet when it was coming out in like winter 2015, but I couldn't get into it back then, but I figured I'd give it another try. This time I got it in a Sentai sale. So yeah, it's I think they're fighting monsters. Yeah, it's kind of it's interesting. And my favorite show from last year, Insomniacs After School. It's a neat little romance, very heartwarming, it's just all around feel good. It's about two teens that are suffering from insomnia. They wind up restarting the astronomy club so they can use the observatory to try to sleep. So yeah, it's got some interesting stuff going on. It's very heartwarming. It's very real neat. Karakuri Circus, another blind buy. Decided to pick it up because it looked kind of interesting. It's got some martial arts stuff going on. It looks pretty violent, so gonna... Yeah, it's just the thing that I might be interested in. So yeah, I decided to pick it up. It's 36 episodes. And right from 2022, it's Akiba Maid War. Basically, if maid cafes were run the same way that like the Yakuza were, it's a parody of like crime dramas, but it's also like plays everything totally straight. So it's hilarious, but it's also very dramatic as well. It's a good time. It really is. Next is a series from like early last year, Giant Beasts of Ours. The first ever Sentai co-production, which is weird because you'd think if it's a co-production they would dub it, but they didn't. So, double check. Yeah, they did not dub this. Interesting. Okay, so, yeah, it's about giant beasts and like human experimentation and all that stuff. Another random pickup that I decided to pick up just out of the blue, Burst Angel. Yeah, I don't know much about this one. It's just about... Yeah, it's a cyberpunk show. They're doing things and stuff. They got mechs. They got guns. They're gonna blow shit up. That's all I need to know. Hell yeah. Flowers of Evil. I found out about Flowers of Evil through an anime club I used to go to. Not the regular one I regularly talk about, but there was another one at another college that ran that anybody could really go to. That I just went to for a while, and they were playing this, and it's a very psychological show. It's hard to describe, really. It's just about bad people being bad people. Next is My Love Story. Don't know much about this one, but yeah, it's apparently a romantic comedy, and I am getting into those kinds of anime lately with Insomniacs and Dangers in My Heart and all that stuff. So yeah, it's just it's probably neat. I'll probably like it. Book of Bontora. Again, another random buy. I think I got it in a Sentai sale as well for cheap. So yeah, it's apparently about... I think it's about living books or something. I think I actually had this during the last collection video, and I just haven't watched it since. But either way. This art club has a problem. It's a zany comedy about an art club, students in an art club, and that's really all we get. So yeah, weird people in an art club. Yeah. Last but not least, we have, at least for this box, we have Deno Coil. Neat little sci-fi show. I watched a few episodes for research at one point, and I kind of liked it. It was alright. But it'll probably pick up later on. Who knows? It's just a show that is pretty neat, and I think I'll enjoy it more if I get through more than like 4 episodes. Okay, we are finally on the last box. And to start off the last box, we have Pokemon Indigo League. I own Orange Islands as well. They're actually recent pickups. Pokemon, biggest franchise in the world, needs no introduction. But yeah, I enjoy Pokemon. Recently collecting the DVDs. I may only collect to like Gen 4 though, because there's a lot. Next we have Toko, the complete series from Manga Entertainment. Kind of a horror, supernatural, action type thing. It was kind of a blind buy once again, but hey, I might like it. It's gory if anything else. Next we have Tsukikage Ran, Carried by the Wind. It's a neat little one-core samurai show from the year 2000. Basically, this super powerful samurai lady walks around looking for sake, and she gets into trouble wherever she goes. It's funny, it's neat. I watched it on Tubi a couple years ago and enjoyed it, so I figured I'd track down the DVDs. I found out there were DVDs and I tracked them down. Next we have Trinity Blood, the Viridian Collection. I watched it years ago. I think it was in like 2017, and I don't remember a thing about it, but I decided to pick up the Viridian Collection anyway. Yeah, it's a type of set that I like, with the little cases that can individually contain a disc or two, and it's got the little outside cardboard. It's not chipboard, but it's something. Next is Welcome to the NHK, series that I watched a couple years ago. I did quite enjoy it. Wasn't my favorite thing in the world, but I did like it. It's about a recluse who's trying to get back into mainstream society, and it really it makes fun of otaku culture a lot, and it makes fun of like some other things, and it gets into like why people become hikikomori in Japan and sort of a supposed solution, even though I don't completely agree with it. So yeah. Next we have Full Metal Panic, again one of these chipboard sets with the individual discs in here, disc cases rather. Mech show with a decent amount of comedy in it. ADV dub, pretty standard fare there. But yeah, it's the first season is, I remember quite liking the first season, not as much the second season, which I have here later. I have the second season of Full Metal Panic in there somewhere. So yeah. Full Metal Panic. Here's a series I quite like, Tokyo Ravens. It's about I think it's a family of onmyoji or something, and the teens go to like a school to practice their spiritual powers and stuff. And there's a romance aspect to it as well, with like this mysterious girl that disappeared, but it turns out she was the avatar of somebody else. Like a familiar or an avatar of somebody else who actually admired him. So yeah. Next is Usho and Tora. The manga is a bit older, but this is like a newer like adaptation of that. There was like an OVA adaptation back in I think the 90s that it just adapted a tiny bit of the story, and then of course this came out a few years ago, and I decided to pick it up. It's 39 episodes. It's a rare, like, big shonen title that Sentai picked up, so, yeah. Next is Infinite Revius. It is pronounced Revius, not Revius. Basically, it's about these teens who get stuck in space on like this spaceship that's apparently like super powerful, because like a century or so before the start of the story, there was like this massive solar flare that like there was a massive solar flare that left all this stuff in space that made space travel really, really difficult. And there wasn't a ship powerful enough to get through it, and the Revius is a ship that can travel great distances in space despite this Sea of Gadult thing. So yeah, the all the students wind up stuck on this ship, and they have to survive on their own, basically. Next is Tanaka-kun is always listless. Just about a listless guy, basically, who doesn't give a shit about anything. Again, it was another, like, blind buy from a Sentai sale that I said, hey, why not? It's cheap. So, yeah. Here's a super good sports anime, Run with the Wind. I watched this pretty recently. I finished it a couple weeks ago, actually, and it's superb. It's really good. Basically, it's about a college track and field team. This guy, he recruits a bunch of people, and he turns mostly non-athletic guys into like a functioning track and field team. They're trying to do what's called the Hakone Ekiden, which is basically a track and field relay across a mountain range in like northern Japan, and it's quite the daunting task, and it's just inspiring to see them like get to their goal. It's just great, you know. And it answers the question: why do you run? Do you like running? Why do you run? Here's Fullmetal Panic Season 2, like I mentioned a little while ago. It's okay. I didn't like it as much as the first season. The only thing I truly enjoyed about season 2 was, like, one of the villains was just over the top. I think his name was Gates or something. Yeah, he was a character. Next is Tokyo Underground, another blind buy. It's an obscure shonen from the 2000s that apparently is about like this other world that's underground or whatever, and people have superpowers and they fight, and that's really all there is. Skull-faced bookseller Honda-san. Yeah, this is a series that I know. I first heard about this series from Mother's Basement back when he was doing. This was back from like 2018. This was like one of his shows to watch in 2018 because basically it's about like people who work in a bookstore, and like the customers ask for weird shit, and that's most of the comedy. Yeah, next we have Bosquash. Basically, it's giant robot basketball. That's basically what it is. Giant robot basketball. There's probably more to it than that. It says it's in a dystopian world through the description, but yeah, giant robot basketball. Next we have Tactics. I own every single DVD of Tactics. All 5 of them. I had the 5th one was a little more expensive than the others, but I was able to track them all down, and they all work, and that's great. Basically, it's about a guy who not only does he write about supernatural phenomena, but he's kind of sort of an exorcist. It's alright. It's nothing to write home about. It's a pretty alright show. Next we have Sorcerer Hunters. Mind the price tag. So, yeah, Sorcerer Hunters. I watched a couple episodes a few years ago. I still need to watch the rest of it. It's a very classic 90s fantasy show. Yeah. Next, we have a classic shonen series, Soul Eater. Watched it a few years ago. It's a pretty decent shonen, I'd say, even though the anime diverts from the manga a bit toward the end. But yeah, I did quite enjoy it. Yeah, it's a very nice show. It's got a bit of a Halloween aesthetic there, and I appreciate that. Next is a Hero no Sora, a bit of another Sentai sports series like Run with the Wind, except this is about a guy who gets a bunch of delinquents to play basketball with him because he loves basketball, and the only people on the basketball team are like people who want to beat people up. So yeah, I haven't watched it, but I might like it. Who knows? Next is Seven Deadly Sins Season 1. I think it's the only Seven Deadly Sins season that's on home video right now. I know Funimation picked up the home video rights for Seven Deadly Sins, but I don't think they released anything beyond the first season. And of course, Funimation's no longer a thing, so that would be up to Crunchyroll, I guess, but I don't think Crunchyroll is interested in releasing a Netflix show, so... Anyway. Yeah, I quite enjoyed the first season. I need to watch the rest of it. I've heard the rest of it's a train wreck. But, yeah. It's time to summon that clear and sweet guy, because it's the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. Yeah, so I think I watched a bit of this in Japanese like years ago. Because this was during the era of 2000s dubs where like the same 12 people were in everything. But, yeah, I might watch it, whether it's in English or Japanese, but I don't know, because, like, I remember people complaining about Endless 8 back when that was airing. So, I don't know if I want to watch Season 2, but I will at least watch Season 1 of Haruhi at some point. Next is Case Closed, Detective Conan, whatever you want to call it. It's Case Closed here, though. Yeah, I found somebody selling a bunch of, like, the sets. So I got, like, the 5 Case Closed seasons, as I may have mentioned earlier. I don't remember. I took long breaks between the boxes. So, yeah, yeah, a lot of mystery stuff going on. I'm more into the manga than I am the anime, but I do enjoy me some Case Closed. Next is Hanebado. Hanebado is a sports series about a badminton team and how there's a lot of drama surrounding like their sports lives and their personal lives and stuff. And I enjoyed it somewhat. It's pretty decent. Next up, we have Spiced and Wolf, the complete first 2 seasons, I guess, because the remake is coming out right now. Basically, guy meets a wolf girl who turns to be a wolf goddess, and they do business. And they do business in the various towns. And it's pretty neat. Next we have Hajime no Ippo. Hajime no Ippo is a classic, very long-running manga series. Only part of it's been adapted to anime, and this is like the first attempt at adapting it. I do quite enjoy what I've seen of it. I need to see the whole thing. I will eventually watch all of this, and I will probably quite enjoy it. Next is Serial Experiments Lane. Lane is a series that I owned years ago in like DVD format. I got the Pioneer Jenny on DVDs long ago, and then I didn't finish it, and then I traded them to a friend for another set that's in this box, and then I think I traded them for I traded them for Black Lagoon. I traded that and some cash for Black Lagoon. I misremembered a bit of that, sorry. So, and then I finally picked this up several years ago. I still need to finish Lane, but it is interesting. It's about the internet. Ooh, the internet. Next is Haruka Receive, basically beach volleyball. What can I say? It's a 2018 series, came out at the same time that Hanibado did, except it's a series about girls beach volleyball instead of girls badminton. I don't know much about it other than that. I had to watch it at some point. Next is the first Reborn set. I need to get the other one. Reborn is interested me for a long time. I just couldn't get super into it. But yeah, Reborn, one of those more obscure shonen series that kind of fell to the wayside, and then it kind of just ended. Yeah. It kind of just ended, you know? There's not much I can say about it. Next we have Escryad, another Adult Swim series. Another Adult Swim series. And it's about superhumans, basically. I think some people have compared it to X-Men a little bit. But yeah, it's just a show that it had kind of been on my radar, and then Disc Attack finally put out a Blu-ray for it, so I decided to pick it up. Next up is the first season of One Punch Man. I watched a little bit of this with some friends. I need to watch the rest of it and then get season 2. Or at least watch season 2. I heard season 2 is not as good. Excuse me. But yeah, it's about super powerful man who can beat anybody in one punch. But somehow it's still compelling. Ooh. Next is the Bleach spinoff Burn the Witch. Don't know much about Burn the Witch, but it's except that it's a Bleach spinoff that takes place in like the western part of Soul Society. It takes place in England as well, so lots of like western fantasy stuff going on as opposed to the Shinigami stuff we get in the Bleach side of things. So yeah. Next, we have Black Cat. I'm very fond of what I've read of the Black Cat manga, but yeah, the series is just okay. It's decent for like half of it, and then the second half it kind of diverts away from what the manga intended, and it's not like it diverted from where the manga intended it to go, and it's just not very good. It goes in a weird direction. Still kind of like it though. Black cat, yeah. Kitty cat, 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 kitty cat. Next we have Outlaw Star. Outlaw Star is pretty damn good, I'd say. Basically, bounty hunter / fix-it-up guys turn space pirate guys. And yeah, he gets his own ship from a space pirate, and he starts to go for the treasure, whatever it may be. So yeah, I do quite enjoy Outlaw Star. It's great. Alright, next is Aim for the Ace, a classic 1970s sports anime. Tennis, obviously, but it's apparently from Osamu Dezaki, who's like a legendary director in Japan. He knows what he's doing, and he's real good, according to many people who I've talked to. So yeah, aim for the ace, for the ace, for the ace, for the ace. Don't aim for the S. Hey. Expensive item. Gatchaman, the complete series. It contains over 100 episodes and some OVAs and some extra stuff on a ton of Blu-ray discs, and I do enjoy me some Gatchaman. I like what I've seen. I watched a bit of it years ago, and and I do like aspects of Tokusatsu, so yeah, Gatchaman. Next is Samurai Champloo, samurai hip-hop fusion thing, and it is quite good. I watched it with an anime club back in like 2012. We watched through the whole thing, and I think I only caught maybe the latter 2/3 of it, but it was quite enjoyable. I do want to watch it again at some point. And like I said last time, it's just that they just stuck the Geneon DVDs into new packaging. That's literally what they did in this set. See? It's the Geneon DVDs. Okay, so another Girls with Guns show, Noir. Noir's kind of mid, honestly. It has a great soundtrack, but it's just, I don't know. Didn't really hit me at all. It's not great. I didn't care for it that much. Yeah, another classic 70s show, Rose of Versailles. Rose of Versailles, it's a show that a lot of anime fans, especially fans that want to get into shoujo, need to see. At least apparently, I haven't seen any of it, but I do own these DVDs, and it's the Nozomi Entertainment release. I got these for relatively cheap, actually. Yeah, because they were going out of print, and I snapped them right up. Next is Lupin the Third Part 2. Yeah, so Lupin the Third Part 2, aka the Red Jacket series, aka the series that aired on Adult Swim, that they dubbed a decent chunk of and then just gave up after a while due to low sales, or the sales weren't meeting expectations or something. Anyway, so yeah, the classic Lupin. Virgico is my wife. Anyway. Now, Log Horizon, the first 2 seasons, it does not include the Round Table, the Fall of the Round Table, whatever it's called, season. Yeah, it's got all 50 episodes of that. Basically, people trapped in an online game world. Like, that's a new concept. But yeah. So, yeah, I watched the first season and enjoyed it. I need to watch season 2. I want to eventually watch season 2. So, yeah. Next is a series that I think is a hidden gem. Hikai J. Hikai J is about a crime fighter guy who teams up with a robot guy, but robots are kind of illegal. If I remember correctly, robots are like... Yeah, robots are either outlawed or something like that, and then Jay is kind of the exception because he's a badass crime fighter dude. And yeah, now they're set like this with the discs and a little bit of case. Little bit of case. Little bit of case. Next we have Dot Hack Sign. Speaking of online game worlds, am I right? Anyway, so it is a classic series. It's not the best Dot Hack show. Or the best Dot Hack media. That goes to maybe Legend of the Twilight. And I really like the first half of Dot Hack Roots, and then Dot Hack Roots kind of fell off a cliff after the first half. But yeah, definitely worth checking out. Next we have Slayers. It is all 5 seasons of Slayers that I wound up picking up. I think I got through the first half of the first season, and I didn't watch anything else because I just kind of fell off it. That just happens to me sometimes. With the used to, not as much anymore, but sometimes it does. Where I'll be watching something, I'll be interested in it, but I'll just get distracted and not come back to it for like 5 years. But yeah, Slayers. Next, in the so bad it's good category, we have Vatican Miracle Examiner. If Vatican Miracle Examiner is... It was a show that came out, and then the first arc had a super ridiculous twist. It has to be seen to be believed. Watch the first 4 episodes, and you will be amazed at how unbelievably stupid, like, the main twist of the first case is. Next is Maid-sama. Basically about student council president has a secret job at a maid cafe as one of the maids, and guy finds out about it, and hilarity ensues. So yeah. Next we have Dot Hack Roots. So yeah, Dot Hack Roots, the first half of Dot Hack Roots is really good. And then after certain characters disappear, it's kind of just like, it's in a state of lull. Huge lull, and then it leads into the Dot Hack GU trilogy, which I haven't seen yet. But it's like, I don't know. You built up something great, and then you botched it, Next up, we have Rune Soldier. Rune Soldier, I think I watched a bit of it like 15 years ago or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, I think I watched a bit of it like 15 years ago. Like, Rune Soldier is just it's mostly a typical fantasy thing. I don't think it's anything to write home about, but then again, I haven't seen the whole thing, so who knows? Next is Utawari Ramono. I watched a bit of it a long time ago. It's a halfway decent show from what I remember. Decent. I just need to actually watch the rest of it. Got a save edition. Ooh. He's got a mask. He's a mask man. Yeah. Next is the 12 Kingdoms. One of my favorite isekai. Basically, girl winds up in another world because it turns out she wasn't supposed to be born in our world. She's supposed to be born in the other world. Not only that, she's supposed to be the queen. So it's just like, yeah, lots of political struggles, lots of interesting stuff going on with these characters, and I do quite enjoy it. Also, the rat guy is the best. Rat guy, best guy. Next is Ghost in the Shell standalone complex. Got both seasons here in DVD format. Ghost in the Shell, very influential anime movie, of course, got this TV series, and it is really good. I need to sit through all these episodes, but from what I've seen, it is fantastic. Here's Full Metal Panic Mofu, just the more comedic spin-off of Full Metal Panic. Haven't watched it yet. Not really in the mood for. I think I'd have to be in the mood for it, you know, because it's like one of the more comedic stuff of Full Metal Panic, and I don't think comedy is Full Metal Panic's strong suit some of the time. Next, we've got Yu Yu Hakusho, a very classic 90s anime that caught on in the West in the 2000s. First on Adult Swim and then on Toonami. So yeah, Yu Yu Hakusho. I own all 4 seasons. I need to get the that last set that has like the OVAs and stuff. But yeah, Yu Yu Hakusho is it's amazing. It's really good, really worth your time. It's a great shonen. Next up is Lucky Star. I quite enjoy Lucky Star. It's probably the most Seinfeld-ass anime there is. But yeah, they just a lot of times they just talk about nothing, and it's funny. It's great. Next, we've got Naruto. I only own like 3 Blu-ray sets of Naruto so far. I need to get at least a few more and then work on Shippuden possibly. So yeah, Blu-ray of Naruto. It's damaged a little bit. I think I got it used, and then it was damaged a little bit. So yeah, Naruto. Hype shonen. Yeah. So next is Genshin, the show about anime nerds. Now, my college anime club, the one I attended for a few years, was actually named after Genshin. It was more of a Japanese pop culture club. We leaned a bit more toward anime because that's what we were interested in. And we couldn't just be the anime club because student life was like, you have to be productive if you're going to be a club and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I'm actually in the middle of watching Genshin right now. I've got Disc 2 in my PS5. So yeah, it's kind of funny. It's pretty nice so far. Full Alchemist, the original series on complete Blu-ray. I think I bought this like as it was going out of print, because the rights to Full Alchemist with Funimation were about to expire, I think, and then they put out this Blu-ray set a few years prior, and I decided to pick it up because it was going down in price because again, it was going out of print. So I decided to pick it up. I need to pick up Brotherhood at some point, too. The DVDs, the Blu-rays, or whatever of Brotherhood. Maybe I'll find a good deal on eBay. Next is Food Wars. The complete first season on DVD. Basically food battles, and then people get naked for some reason, and that's basically it. Yeah, food and naked people. What more could you want? Maybe some sword fights, but not. Food and naked people. Next we have Great Teacher Onizuka. Series that is a classic comedy. About, I think it's like 43 episodes of just a guy who tries to become a teacher because he wants to hit on the hot moms. Yeah, that's essentially why he becomes a teacher. He's like an ex-biker, and then he decides to become a teacher. And next is Ghost Stories. Now, Ghost Stories is mostly known for its dub. They just decided to go hog wild with the dub. The story was that the series didn't do well in the ratings, so the Japanese company told them that they could do whatever they wanted, which is actually not true. Apparently, if you actually go research the ratings, they were apparently doing okay in the ratings, and just Stephen Foster just kind of took it upon himself to make this a parody dub. I mean, there's stuff about it that hasn't aged well, but you know, I don't know. Still. Ghost Stories. Ghost Stories. Alright, next up is Fist of the North Star. Obviously, it's the very classic Fist of the North Star. Very influential, very full of OP rippling muscle guys. So yeah, I've seen a few episodes. I quite enjoy it. Of course, they only dubbed like 30 something episodes of the first season, and they just didn't bother after that. But yeah, I plan on watching it in Japanese anyway. So yeah, you are indeed already dead. Next we have Bakano. I own all 4 singles of Bakano, even though the third one cost me way too much money for like a single DVD of something. But yeah, I did wind up buying all 4 of them. It's like 91 Days. It's a Prohibition era thing, but this is a lot wackier. It has some weird turns, and it's just an overall good time. Next is Pilot Candidate. I decided to pick up Pilot Candidate because I've heard it's really bad. And so I just decided to pick it up. I have the 4 singles of Pilot Candidate from Bandai. So yeah. Next I've got Air Gear. Air Gear is a skating Air Gear is a skating show. Basically, they go fast and it's funny and there's boobies. So yeah, it's just it's a really decent show. Just yeah. I'm probably going to watch this after I finish Genshin Season 1, so... Yeah, speaking of Genshin, I have the 2nd season right here. So, yeah, I'm not going to watch Season 2 right after Season 1. I'll probably wait on Season 2, maybe several months down the road. But yeah, Genshin is just... it's a whole thing. Can, baby. Okay, next we have Mars Daybreak. It's just a random mecha show that I found out about at some point and decided to pick it up. Because I do like finding hidden gems. As maybe you've seen throughout my entire collection. I just own a lot of things that not many people talk about. And some of them are really good. So yeah. Mars Daybreak. And the final thing that I will show you in this collection, Technolize. Technolize is a show that I do quite enjoy. I have some nostalgia for it. It's a show that it's very just cyberpunk dystopia kind of thing. People live underground, and there's like cybernetic enhancements called technolizations that they put all over their bodies, and it's just, I don't know, it's very bleak, but it is like it's a good watch, I think. It's from the same character designer as Lane, so and that is the end of my anime collection video. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in the comment section below. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more stuff from me. So yeah, I'll see you next time, everybody.